In this lesson we're going to be looking at cadences. Now, cadences are often described as the punctuation of music. You know, certain cadences would be described more as a full stop, others a comma or a semicolon, all that kind of stuff. And there's four types of cadences. You've got a perfect cadence, a plagal cadence, imperfect cadence, and an interrupted cadence. They all have their different flavour. Some are a bit more subtle, others are quite strong, and they have their place and they can be really helpful for your songwriting. So we'll just zone in. I'm going to show you what they look like on the guitar in particular, give you some shapes, and just show you the feel of it really. We're going to be working in the key of A major, so fret 5, and we're going to look at the four cadences. We're going to start with the perfect cadence, which is the most, I guess, popular or well-known. Perfect cadence is chord 5 to chord 1, so we're slightly relying on our numerals, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that chords 1 and 5 are major, so that's going to be a major. And then chord 1 is obviously going to be an A because we're in A major. So you've got, that's the sound. Maybe it works a bit better in actual context, so I'll play a few more chords, You get this sense of finality. I mean, so much of Western art music is kind of obsessed with the 5-1 thing. So much classical music is based around that 5-1, particularly the earlier stuff. You get a sense of finality. There are reasons behind that, which I won't go into right now. Again, jazz, love a bit of 2-5-1s, and that kind of perfect cadence. It brings a real great sense of finality, which as a songwriter you might want, but you might not want it. If I play, let's move on to the plagal cadence now, and I'll play you the difference. So plagal cadence is slightly softer sounding. It's chord 4 to 1, and it doesn't matter what key you're in all of these. You could be in G major, B flat major. A perfect cadence in any of those keys is just chord 5 to chord 1. A plagal cadence is chord 4 to 1. So if we go up our major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slightly softer. Again, I'll do those two chord sequences, but one with the perfect, one with the plagal. So we'll start with perfect. Now softer, plagal. You still get that sense of resolve, but it's just not quite as in your face. And again, as a songwriter, it's great to have these tools because you can make that choice. I'm going to just play you a little bit of High and Dry by Radiohead, which is in E major. And so we've got... So we're going to play... starts on F sharp minor, so it actually starts on chord 2. Then it goes to chord 4, setting us up for a plagal cadence, then chord 1. So you get this sort of like... That's chord 4, and then chord 1. I'll play it down a bit lower so you can see. Chord 2, chord 4, and then chord 1. So you get a plagal cadence there. It's nice and soft. Let me try it with a perfect cadence. It doesn't sound wrong, but if you know the song, that would just be so inappropriate for the song. It needs that softness. The whole song is just those 3 chords, and it works so well as a plagal cadence, not a perfect. So, as I said before, those 2 chords bring about the end of a section. Chord 4 to 1 is a plagal, chord 5 to 1 is a perfect, but both are really good for ending a section, end of a chorus, maybe the end of a song. We're now going to look at the last 2 cadences, which are actually really good for taking you somewhere new. So an imperfect cadence, as you might have guessed, isn't chord 5 to 1, it's chord 1 to 5. Yeah? So we looked at Elton John's Your Song, actually, and that does it a little bit. It ends the verse, so we're in D major, so we've got, those are our chords. We'll have to go down there. So he ends the verse on a D, which is chord 1, and then he starts the pre-chorus on chord 5. So we get a kind of bit of a crossing over from chord 1 to 5. So he goes, what's it? Down, 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 down. Da-down, da-down. And you can tell everybody this is your song. So what he's done is he's ended on the D, we get a nice sense of resolve, and then he uses the A major to take us somewhere new. You feel that sense of lift, don't you, when you get the, you know, this one's for you, feels finished, and then taking us somewhere new. And you can tell everybody. Yeah, so imperfects are great for that. You also get that in Robbie Williams' Angels. That's in E major. And so the chorus starts in B. So we've got 1, 4, 5, 1, and then if you wanted the minors, so it'd be yeah, I'm loving angels instead. So resolve, yeah, you get that. Yeah, I'm loving angels instead, feels resolved, and through it all, yeah, it just really lifts the song, doesn't it? It takes you somewhere new by finishing on chord 1, then bringing you in on chord 5 to somewhere completely new. So that's the imperfect cadence. Last one we're going to look at is interrupted, which there's a bit of debate on what it is. Traditionally, it's chord 5. Instead of chord 5 to chord 1, it's chord 5 to chord 6. Though some people say that technically it's just chord 5 to any other chord that's not 1. Now, I'd probably argue it's chord 5, or I'd strongly argue that it's chord 5 to 6 more than any others, because chord 6 is the relative minor. So if we go back to A, chord 6 is the F sharp minor, the relative minor, yeah? So if we go chord 1, 4, 5, and then back to 1, we've done a nice perfect cadence, and we are where we are, right? If I go up here to a F sharp minor, which is same as this chord but just a bit easier to get to from here, then we've done an interrupted cadence and we've gone to chord 6. Now, because these chords are so nicely linked, the relative minor and the major, there is a sense of cadence, because you're not going to that, you know, you're not going to where you might think in terms of the perfect, going, oh great, 5-1, the traditional thing. You're going 5-6, so there is a sense of resolve, but it's just not where you expected. Whereas I think if you just went chord 5 to anywhere, there's not quite that link that you've got with the relative minor as chord 6. I'm going to look at a really good example of this. It's Coldplay, Fix You, actually. So this one's in E flat. So we go 1, 4, 5, 1. You see how easy it is to find all the chords in a key, even awkward ones like E flat, just using this. So chord 1, chord 4, chord 5, and if we're going to go to chord 6, we could go here, jump up, but just for the sake of what's easiest and nearest, I'm going to go here. So the first part is the end of Fix You, and the first part of it is just using chords 1, 4, and 5. Nice major, easy to sort of get your head around. As tears stream down your face, and you lose something you cannot replace, then as tears stream down your face, and you see how that just going in, you know, we've had chords 1, 4, and 5. We're expecting to go back to the 1 because that's where we've been going, but they surprise us by just moving up 2 frets. We go to chord 6, that interrupted chord 5 to chord 6, and so instead of getting that, you know, that sort of perfect cadence that we're expecting, we get a nice surprise. It just brings a real lift to the section, and I guess saves it from getting boring, because it's quite a long section. So if you're just doing chords 1, 4, and 5, it might get a bit tiresome. So again, it's just more tools for you as a songwriter. You know, you want to take it somewhere new. Try resolving your section as on chord 1 by doing a, you've ended on chord 1, and then bring it into chord 5 to make an imperfect cadence, gives the song a lift. Or do the interrupted. You get to chord 5, people expecting a nice resolve on chord 1, but you don't give them that. You kind of trick them, and then you take them somewhere else, yeah? So just gives you a few tools that you can use in your songwriting and your arranging. So that's cadences, and just to round up the whole who cares stuff, as I've been talking about a little bit before, you've got strong cadences that help you finish a section. If you want a strong ending, then you might want to do a perfect. If you want a slightly more subtle ending, you might want to use a plagal. Again, you can play with this stuff. Depends what your song is saying. It depends what your arrangement is like. You might want something like that. If you want to go into a new section and you want to make it really fresh, then try using an imperfect or an interrupted cadence. play around with it, see what you think, and just see what works for you. But ultimately, those tools are there to work for you. You've now got 4 cadences that can help you with your songwriting that you didn't have before, and can just help you with, just sort of tie in your lyrical concept with the music to make it a stronger song.